Do you love where you live? How about the air that you breathe every second of the day? The water that you drink to keep you replenished? The food that you eat to keep you energized? Those three things are essential to human life, and yet right now they're being taken for granted. Truth is, Mother Earth is sick, and the pathogen is the human race. We're causing fevers, we're causing stomach aches. If you can think of any bad symptom that you get when you're sick, that's what Mother Earth is dealing with right now, and it's because of us. If we keep treating the environment the way that we are, if we don't assess how we're treating the environment, then one day those three essential things won't be there for us. First thing I want to talk about is air pollution. Air pollution is increasing and on the rise right now. The EPA suggests that has found that since 1970, carbon emissions have increased by 90%. In real terms, that means 5,000 metric tons of carbon is now in the air, more than it was back in 1970. The EPA credits about 78% of that carbon emission total from industrial complexes and fossil fuel consumption, and the rest of the 22% is from agricultural and deforestation. Now, you're probably thinking, what does carbon emissions do to me? What does air pollution do to me? I can walk outside, I can play sports, I can breathe just fine. Right now, based off of how much carbon emissions are in the air now, yeah, it's not affecting you short term, but it is affecting you long term. Journal of Research in Medical Sciences determined that air pollution is considered a major environmental risk and can cause certain diseases such as asthma, lung cancer, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease, psychological complications, autism, and for pregnant women, fetal growth and low birth weight. So it may not be affecting you short term, but as I just listed, it is affecting you long term. The World Health Organization estimates that over 7 million people a year die from air pollution. So it is a problem right now. It may not be affecting the United States directly, but one day it will, because the EPA saw that Asia does represent 30% of air pollution, but the United States isn't that far behind with 15%, the second highest rate. So that problem, that many people dying a year, is soon going to affect the United States. Another thing I want to talk about is water pollution. Now, the surface of the Earth is 70% water. National Geographic says that 70% is water. 70% of the world is water. But the thing is, only 2.5% is fresh water. So that means that the water that we can just take out of the ground or take out of the river and drink, only 2.5% of the surface water on the entire globe is actual fresh water. And National Geographic says because of all the glaciers, only actual 1% of that 2.5% is actually accessible. The NRDC determined that by 2050, the global demand for fresh water, meaning how many people need water, is expected to be 1/3 greater than it is right now. That means 1/3 of the population, the total population that we have on planet Earth, that many more people are going to need fresh water from that 1% that is accessible. United Nations did a study and found that only 30% of the wastewater in the United States is actually treated. So that means 30% of that 1% that the United States takes, the 1%, the percentage of that 1% the United States take. Sorry, this is confusing. What I mean by that is the water that we actually do take from that 1% on the global surface, only 30% of the water that we actually take is treated. That means 70% of water, the wastewater, meaning, when you use the restroom, when it comes from factories, sewage plants, farms, only 30% of that water is treated. That means 70% goes back into the water cycle and is affecting us and is affecting low economic countries. The Earth is continuously getting worse, and pollution is increasingly becoming more of a problem. In 30 or 50 years, the things we take for granted, food, water, air, may not be there for us, or they're not going to be really cheap. Think about your future self when you're 80, when you're 70, when you're 60. Do you really want to deal with having to go all over the place just to find water? Think about your kids. Think about their kids. Think about all of your loved ones, what they're going to have to go through just to eat, just to drink, just to breathe. You think they want to wear masks for the rest of their life, even though there is no COVID pandemic? That's where our future is heading if we don't take a stand now. Thank you for listening. That was my TED Talk.